home would be able to live it. People give in various ways. Those who have really cash, we celebrate. Those who have got time, we celebrate. Those who have got talent, like Hika, we celebrate. So we want to spend the whole of this day celebrating the cocktail of giving in various ways. And also reflecting on the people that give in our communities, the people that are the drivers of the development that we see in communities. Sometimes it's not the big donor money, it's not the big money from corporations, but it's the little time that people give. We have come to learn that in our communities, people give their time, people give their knowledge, skills, people give their relationships. All these are vitally important for our communities to change. And so, as we sit here, as we celebrate, as we go through the different activities, let us remember all those unsung heroes and celebrate them. So, there are many activities, as Jackie has highlighted. Feel free to sit where you must sit. If you want to dance, please feel free to dance. If you want to donate blood, do that. If you want to go to the Ubuntu space for giving, please do that. It's a day that we have dedicated for celebration. So thank you. Once again, most welcome. Terribly disappointed with the cow. The cow should have actually been here to put me on a dance challenge. But now that has passed, she can try me another time. But thanks Isabella and their co-MC who are going to be singing us through the day. So, asante sana, karibu, tusangaire ino, tusanyusa okubalaba, and all others. Welcome.
What's the selfie? Pick a picture, pick a warning board, pick something. We all take selfies. And later on, I know them, we don't know them.
Like at Shabab, they don't want to touch their neighbor. People pick a neighbor.
Thank you, that group. The best picture as a gift. The best picture will win a gift. The worst picture.
The keynote speaker at this very important event. Unfortunately, I heard that this is the sixth of it, but it's the first time I'm hearing about it. Yet I think that given its importance, it's something that we should all know about, and it's something that should be all over media, because I've not seen or heard of such an innovation. Being the teacher I am, I decided to write what to say. But it's also partly because in the last couple of weeks, my memory has been terrible. I didn't want to come here and forget everything. So when I was invited to make this address, as I usually do, I have first asked myself why I should and why I might have been invited. In this case, I did not have to stretch far to find reasons. What do you do when you're invited to speak about local philanthropy by an organization which funded your own art? Do you tell them that you're not committed, rather that you're committed? Do you tell them that the thing does not speak to you? I do not want to say that I accepted, because since it was funded, the publication of my cartoon collection through Kuonyesha Art Fund. I'm simply saying that I saw the theme of today in their work, not just as something they would want to preach to others, but as their way of life. And I would really think that we should clap to that. More importantly, we share the conviction, so no persuasion was required. In any case, I knew I would only come here, tell a few stories, and sit down to listen to more interesting people. Speaking about philanthropy in an African setting is the simplest of things, but also paradoxically an uncomfortable task. I'll start with why it is very simple. A person in Europe or America who only knows Africa through what they pick from media would obviously think that Africa is a land of meanness. It is a composition of wildlife and a bunch of desperate beggars. Certainly, we have also contributed in some ways to shaping this image. But any person who has grown up in Africa, especially in the rural settings where many of us come from, will know that Africa is a land of immense kindness and care for one another. This way of life could be at risk today due to the upsurge of capitalism, but it is what we have always been and can still choose to be. I will not theorize it. I'll just draw for you a picture of the village life I can recall, and I imagine that many of you can relate. Our village neighbor, Aunt Pelagia, is in her late 80s now and bound to her bed due to a joint injury. We call her Auntie not because of any blood ties, but how could we not be related to an immediate neighbor or even to the entire village? That is how our mother and everyone else raised us. It was not just about our neighbors or village mates. Whoever visited us that was not a relative but was older than us was either an auntie, an uncle, or a judge. That also meant that we were their children or grandchildren, not nieces or nephews. We did not have to ask how the relationship came about. Aunt Pelagia would sometimes send her grandchildren to our home for some salt. Jaji asabayo kumonyi, she would say. Sometimes she would be coming for fire, if we had lit the fireplace earlier than then. It was not a strange thing to ask or expect from a neighbor what you did not have. Baganda say, amagezi muliro bwegukugwako ogunona wa munno. Wisdom is like fire. When you run out of it, you get it from someone else. The list of things you could get from another in times of need is long. Aunt Pelagia had a very nice old mortar, a chinu, for pounding groundnuts, and it made so many journeys between her home and ours, even her axe and buzz. Pelagia's mother was quite old when I was a child. She only used to move from her house to the garden and the kitchen, which she frequented to light her smoking pipe. But she was great company still, not just because of her roasted maize. When she had nothing material to give you, she would have a story which she told between puffs of tobacco. In my stubborn curiosity, I enjoyed quietly counting her few teeth as she spoke. If you owned a fruit tree such as a mango, jackfruit, guava, or avocado, it was yours and for the village. You were more of a custodian. Village children and passers-by were only expected to ask to be given. My late brother John was caught with a friend up a mango tree. He was around 11 years old. Only managed to capture John, took him to his home and gave him work. He released him in the evening, and this is just one of the lessons that one was not supposed to take village kindness for granted. They are much richer than others. Some were born into high status. However, there was a mutually understood and collectively enforced keenness on ensuring that privilege did not come along with oppression.
Seated extravagant budgets is a recent urban phenomenon. People enjoyed what they had in all shades of solidarity and care. Our mother would spare some matoke in the garden, saying, "Ndagala," if they had no matoke to give. Acts of kindness cut across good and bad times. When one was sick on the village,
To join their team, come and dance behind them. And after we've done a mix, we'll see which team has the most number of people, and that will be the winning team. And the idea is that the people that are the leaders, and whatever the leader dances, is what everyone else dances. Okay? So DJ.
It's random music, so don't worry. Random music, DJ song.
ngena bibuwe byonna byayina
Once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you see, you cannot unsee. I began eating black tax beneficiaries everywhere. They lifted brothers like only sons lift waste. Helped sisters like rain helps up. Nursed fathers like tender shoots, nursed ancient roots, praised brothers like dawn praises the birds. They gave and gave and gave and gave again. Not for the runners, not for the thunderous applause or glittering rewards, but to honor the invisible thread that binds us. Generosity was not a burden, but a sacred covenant, weaving into our ancestral fabric golden threads in Africa's social tapestry, a pattern awakened afterward.
No silences, no means no silences, no silences.
The amazing song.
Thank you very much, Lilian.
Listen,
And thank you very much, Howard, for that lovely presentation.
the deal maker. I'm
So that was the Diva stage. It's 2:20, and we are going to and there will be people that will lead us to lunch, and lead us to be able to provide for
Guess what?
us.
When you count them, you
I would like you to come on next. Yes.
Amanya gange kitibwa Katongole Arnold era nga nkola n'ekitongole eky'obwannakyewa ekya Open Space Center ekisangibwa Ntinda Kigowa Road era nga nkola mu Communications Department. Kakati Philanthropy Week eno ibaddeyo yatandika ku Monday actually okuza omwezi nga 4 tuka leero we tuli wano ku Ndere Cultural Center nga ensonga enkulu lwaki tukuŋŋaanya oba Philanthropy Week eno ekuŋŋaanya abagabi, abantu abagabirira abalala, abagaba obuyambi, abakwasaganya abagaba obuyambi nga bayamba abantu abalala. So once in a while oba olumu tuba tulina okuŋŋaana wamu ne twogera ku nsonga zino. And week eno ku Monday yatandika ne press conference yaliko bannamawulire bonna. Ku Lwokubiri n'Olwokusatu twalina kye bayita the Philanthropy Symposium. Kati twalina n'ebikujjuko ku Lwokusatu ebyetoolodde eggwanga nga tournament y'omupiira. Kati ffe kitongole nga Open Space Center ku Monday era twalina activations, street activations, okugenda ku streets kwogera n'abantu nti bwe baba baali bagabye kiki kye balowooza kugaba, n'abantu bennyini abafuna kiki kye balowooza kwabo ababawa, naki kye balowooza ku concept y'okugaba eno y'okwagalana. Okitegeera kuba tugamba tuli olw'okuba oli, kitegeeza we are because you are. So omutima omugabi ogwo nga tugezaako okutambuza, tubadde ne talk shows radio ez'enjawulo nga Pearl ne radio endala, tubaddeyo ne engagements endala nga Twitter Spaces. Olwaleero ebimu ku bye tuli mukola wano ku Ndere Culture Center ku showcase nga stories z'abato z'abavubuka, na kiki kye kitegeeza eri omuvubuka okwenyigira mu kugaba oba n'abavubuka abaweebwa, wamu n'okugezaako bakumakuma n'obbakubiriza nti okuweebwa n'okuwa byaffe, nti era kulina tandika naffe abavubuka ne kusaasaanira abantu abalala, nti okuweebwa kwe twagala okuweebwa fe abatandikirwako ate okugaba. So nga kintu kikulu nnyo ekituleese leero wano okushowcase nga stories ez'abavukadde benyigira mu bintu bino, abenyigira mu kugaba, abayamba okugaba, nti kitegeeza ki omuvubuka okwetaba mu bintu bino. Nga omanyi nti Open Space kitongole kya bannakyewa kiriwo okulaba nti kyongeza emiwaatwa omuvubuka mwasobola okukulira, okukola wamu n'okuteeka eddoboozi lye liwulirwe. So ng'ebintu ebirala bye twakoze nejjo twabadde ku ekibuya awo roundabout, ng'era tuli ku street activation endala awo bantu bawo kibuye Katale roundabout Kasaawa awo, nga tugezaako okungeginga abantu ku kintu kino ekyokuwaayo. So Philanthropy Week eno ezze ebeerayo ebbanga n'ebbanga, era kati guno mwaka gwaffe tuvuga mwaka ndowooza gwa kutaano kati. Nga Open Space tukwatagana ne bannaffe abalala nga buli NGO forum n'abasigadde kulaba nti ekintu kino tukiteeka ewaddako, nti okugaba tutandika naawe nange nga naffe wetwandyagadde okuweebwa naffe tusobola okutandika okuwaayo. Tulinawo omukolo ogw'okugaba oba ogw'okwawadinga oba okusiima abo abasukkulumye bannaabwe mu kisaawe kino kya Philanthropy oba ekyokugabanya kyolina n'okiwa abalala. And omukolo ogwo gwakusiima bantu era ekintu oba gwandiise omulamwa gwa wiiki eno kwetambulidde kubadde kwejjukiza kugaba ti tekulina kukoma leero si kwankya, nti okugaba si kuyamba, okugaba yeffe, okugaba it's part of us. Ndowooza nayanziza omukisa guno gw'okwogera ku gyoli